and welcome to our webinar, Combating Cyberbullying, Changing the School's Social Climate, presented by the Bully Free online group on the NEA PPC network. I'm Susie Gannett, and I am the facilitator for the Bully Free group. And after the presentation is over, in the resources, you will find ways, besides resources, you'll find ways to join my group. It's free, it's open to anybody. And also, we'll have resources on a variety of programs. Today, we have with us, our speaker is Amy Weber. Amy is a writer and the producer of the film A Girl Like Her. This film shows how damaging bullying can be. Amy knows what it's like to be on both sides of the bullying issue. And she'll be discussing how the social climate affects the bully, the victim, and the bystander. So many times we focus on the victim that we've got to remember, in essence, they're all victims. You just don't, you're not born to bully. So she'll be discussing every aspect of that. Her film that she wrote, A Girl Like Her film, is incredible. It is just one of the best films I've ever seen. Very, very true to life. And she'll be talking to us about the social climate. And we also have a video presentation by the Be Nice online folks. And the Be Nice online creator is CHRISTY Buck. She is the Executive Director of Mental Health Foundations in Michigan. And she's the creator of the program, Be Nice Online. It is a mental health awareness, bullying and suicide prevention initiative that focuses on school-wide change through simple daily actions. Both of the presenters today will be talking about prevention programs. And unfortunately, the pendulum has swung the other way, where we want to do something so bad, whether in our schools or communities, for kids when it comes to bullying, that we've infiltrated the market, so to speak, with canned bully programs. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you can't judge a bully program by its cover, so to speak. So these two programs that we are talking about today, I like them because it deals with the whole child, and it deals with changing the school social climate. It does no good to just, whether the bully gets suspended or whether you take care of that does not take care of the problem. Helping the victim absolutely helps, but it still doesn't take care of the problem. What researchers have found, that the number one thing, the effectiveness among programs varies greatly, but the number one thing is schools need to focus on changing their school climate, their school norms, and the values of the school, so that bullying is no longer acceptable to staff or to students. This is the key, changing the whole environment. And Amy's going to talk on that and tell you a little bit about her film, and I'm going to send it over to her.
Hello.
Okay, let me switch there. There you are.
Here I am. So, would you like me to just kind of begin, or do you want to?
Nope, sounds good.
Okay, great. Well, hello everyone, and thanks for joining us today and having me as part of this hangout. And as Susie had mentioned, my film, A Girl Like Her, which was released in theaters this year, it was actually March. It was in theaters all over the country. And the film was really inspired over a lifetime of working with kids and personal experience with myself, but also more so working with kids over the last 20 years, telling their stories in documentaries and really learning from them the core of the issue behind this epidemic that has gotten worse and worse and has been plaguing our kids' lives and our communities and our nation for so long. And what I'd like to do is share with you to introduce the backstory of why the film was made, a little bit about the film, show the trailer of the film. I'd like to start off right away and show you a short featurette that shares that information. So I'm just going to click on my screen share right now so I can pull this up for you. And once we take a look at that, I will be back to talk about it some more. So here's the featurette.
You make my life so miserable just by being here, and I'm gonna make your life miserable too. Seriously, Jessica, if you disappeared, the world would be a better place. Just go end yourself.
In whispers, it's been talked about, but no one knows the specifics.
There was a girl who was constantly picking on her. There was this one girl named Avery. I mean, she doesn't seem mean, but when she's around Jessica, she just sort of changes.
I guess people are talking about me being a mean person, thinking that I'm a bitch. And I don't know what makes them say that.
Jessica was absolutely being bullied. I can prove it. We had hidden cameras. We got it all.
I just don't know why she hates me so much.
I did not tell her to go do what she did. This girl did this to herself.
I made a promise that I wouldn't show anybody. Well, I'm breaking that promise right now.
We'll never stop the bullying until we find some method of reaching the bulliers and getting inside of their heads and finding some way to bring some healing to them. You know, I've learned over the course of my life that hurt people are the ones who hurt people.
Bullying isn't anything that's new. I believe that since the human race has existed, there's been some form of what we call bullying. I don't believe that's going to go away anytime soon. I think it's the way in which our culture is raised. And it's an ongoing cycle that goes from generation to generation to generation.
You know, you guys might consider not eating before Avery gets down here. That's really obnoxious. Avery! Chop chop!
I'm coming.
Let's get this show on the road.
A Girl Like Her is a story that shifts the perspective from victim to bully. When we decided to tell the story from this perspective, we knew in some ways it would be controversial, but if we really want to solve this epidemic, we have to shift the perspective to a side that we aren't necessarily hearing about. This is not a new theory by any means, but it certainly isn't in the mainstream practice of our society.
No matter where I go, no matter what I do, she always finds a way to get at me.
The story had to be genuine. It had to be so real for young people to gravitate to it, relate to it, and eventually want to share it. Because if we don't capture the true essence of what's going on today, we can't possibly believe that we'll make an impact. As a society, we haven't quite grasped the issue at hand. We have been looking at one side of the issue for so long, and I've worked with teenagers over the past 20 years who have, even though times have changed, nothing has changed when it comes to this issue. South Brookdale High is everywhere in the United States. It is the truth of what's going on in American high schools today. We show the truth, the ugly truth sometimes behind the issue, and we give it a face like Avery Keller. We give it a voice like Jessica Burns, and we offer it to the world to say, use this film in any way that you see fit to begin a new dialogue.
There are consequences for actions, and part of the consequences are you have to take responsibility for things that you do.
Yeah, okay. So maybe I joked around with Jessica. Maybe I joked around with her just like those girls were. I was joking around with her. Maybe I took it a little bit too far. Maybe it hurt her feelings. I don't know, but that's not my problem that this girl can't handle a joke.
Avery Keller is as much of a victim as she is an abuser. But I think it takes a lot for people to see that. You've got to see through the layers to really understand how deep that really is. Let's face it, in our culture, people who abuse are monsters. And those of us that are protectors want to stand up and fight. We want to stand up for the person who doesn't have the voice. It is innate in our beings. That's why there are some of us that are more projectors of those pains and others who are more introverted about them.
You gotta just blow it off. You can talk to me.
I'm done talking about it. There's nothing else to talk about.
Any mother or any father who has experienced this with their child and who has gone through this with their child understands this does not just affect the child. It affects the entire family core and the entire family structure. This is not just about growing tough young individuals who can handle themselves in the world. This is a destruction of a human being.
Sailing off to sea.
What a fighter is she?
You drag me back to the shore, changing my course of flight. Why me?
I just don't know why she hates me so much.
Why you gotta pick on me?
Right now is the key time for a film like A Girl Like Her to come to the surface, for people to watch it, yes, be entertained by it, relate to it, understand it, have a shift in perspective because of it, and then redefine these conversations that we have that plague us and keep us in a single spot, almost paralyzed to move because nobody knows what to do. Social change is absolutely a necessity in order to cure this epidemic. I think A Girl Like Her is the spark to begin that conversation. What I'd like to introduce to young people is this concept of social change in the form of a manual that was written for them called the Peacekeeper Movement. The Peacekeeper Movement is a social change toward something better than what they're experiencing now, something better for the future, so they can leave their mark and make an impact on the world. This is the generation to do it. If young people are ready, which I believe with my full heart they're ready, they will embrace this and take it all the way. Social change is happening whether we want to believe it or we feel we can do it. It's already happening. It's the youth that are leading us. We don't need to wait for that impact to happen. We can welcome them to the conversation today and begin it today.
I was once a star, shining bright. You pulled me out of the sky, stole my light. Why? Why? And I don't know where, but when I can say that I've been the kindest me that I can be. Can you say the same?
I made a promise that I wouldn't show anybody. Well, I'm breaking that promise right now.
So I hope that played okay for everyone and everyone was able to hear that. I'm going to come back real quick.
Look good, Amy.
Okay, good. So that kind of takes you through really what the movie's about, why we made it. And again, as Susie had mentioned, and we are discussing cyberbullying, the film deals a lot with cyberbullying as part of the recipe, the formula that Avery Keller uses to persecute, abuse, torment Jessica Burns, who's the victim in our story. And when we set out to tell this story, it truly is based on 1,000,000 true stories. And the work that I've done with kids all over the country and their experiences and what they shared with me. And the main, I'd say, ongoing conversation that we would have is that kids don't feel safe. They don't feel safe to speak their truth. They don't feel safe. They don't have a safe space to go. I'm not sure, in every family dynamic, there's a shift that happens when kids reach a certain age. And those seeds that we plant as parents really do stick. We want our kids to open up to us. We want them to share with us what their experiences are, what they're going through. And how many of us ask our kids at the end of the day, how was your day? And they'll say, it was good. We don't really ask questions that then prompt a much longer response, such as, tell me something good that happened today. Tell me something not so good that happened today. But the point I'm making is that these seeds that we plant with our kids, they last so long. They're always there, but there comes a time where there's an embarrassment that happens that we kind of know who they're becoming. And so they don't open up, and all of a sudden the children who were once always giddy to share all the information with us about their day or about this, about that, all of a sudden they start to quiet down. And those are the times we need to get louder. Those are the times we need to start getting a little more creative in the way we approach them. Because these are the years, these are the pivotal years that something is most likely happening. Their hormones are kicking in. They're having all these feelings, and they may not know how to express themselves. And that is what kids shared with me over 20 years, 20 plus years, is that they really don't have a safe space to go when they reach a certain age to share with their parents, with their peers, with their teachers, what's really going on. They think they're aliens. They're the oddest people in the world. No one understands them. No one could possibly know what they're going through. And in our story, Avery, as you learn quickly when you see a girl like her, you see where the real predator is, and in Avery's life, and who she's learned this behavior from. And when you learn that, something kind of shifts in the film. It's very unexpected. that you will have compassion for a bully, that you will understand a bully, and you'll want to know more. But in every one of the young people's lives who I've met personally who have been victims, whether it's very hardcore abuse or just victims within their own household or with a peer group or even teachers, there's something that happens when they're not capable of coping with that pain, and whether they bury it inside, it comes out in a way that we learn that from the people around us. Are we introverted and do we keep all of that inside, or are we more of an extrovert who just screams it to the world and takes it out on other people, never really taking responsibility for our own feelings, actions, behaviors? If we did not learn that, and we did not learn how to properly, our coping mechanism, everybody has a different one. And if we didn't learn how to deal with that pain or those emotions in a healthy way, this is why we're looking at an epidemic. The pain of this epidemic has been passed on from generation to generation to generation, and it will continue trickling down generations until we do something radical. We have to do something radical. The first thing we need to do is we have to look, of course, and help the victim. That is an absolute necessity if we're going to help get them into a safe space, get them the help they need so they can start healing themselves. But we have to look at the perpetrator herself or himself. We have to look into the bully's heart, get past the stereotypes that we are so plagued with, that we cannot get past ourselves, that these people are monsters with no ability for empathy or compassion. And we have to dig a little bit deeper in those layers and have compassion ourselves to step outside of our comfort zones and say, what is going on with this young person who are still in their formative years? What's going on with them that makes them project this pain onto my child, onto me? And we have to give them a safe person to talk to. Once we do that and we start understanding that this behavior is a symptom of pain, once we understand that and we start to embrace that as a culture, things will automatically start to shift. You will have people who project, come forward and say, I am like Avery Keller. We've already seen it happening with schools who have shown our film, with small groups have watched it. We've had girls that stood up and said, holy SHIT, I am Avery Keller. Without even recognizing it themselves, there's a mirror that's been held up and a character that they can relate to, that they understand. And then the big question is, now what? Well, if there's a safe space around them to share what they're feeling and why maybe they're doing what they're doing, now all of a sudden you can get to the core of the issue and you can heal her or heal him. We have a mantra behind the film, and it's very simple. And it kind of falls in line with the gentleman who spoke up at the school board meeting at the beginning of the featurette that you saw. Hurt people are the ones who hurt people. And our mantra at A Girl Like Her is, the only way to save a victim is to heal a bully. And people may think we're crazy. There's no way we can do that. I say, let's give it a try, because have we really, as I said in the featurette, it's not a new theory by any means. There have been incredible people long before the individuals who have worked with me on this film that have screamed this from the rooftops. We have to look at another way. We have to come at this from a different angle. It's not new, but it's needed. And we need to try something different. I'd like to share a PSA with you that's broadcasting over Comcast, definitely locally here in Michigan, all through the month of October. It's a public service announcement that we did to not only promote, of course, the message of the film, but also the Peacekeeper movement, which is the movement that I will share with you after the PSA. So I'd like to play that now for you.
To my bully.
My bully.
My bully.
My bully. Yeah, you.
I think it's time
We talk.
we talk.
Things are going to change.
I won't let you.
I won't let you keep treating me this way.
I won't stay silent.
I won't stay silent.
Or scared.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
For the last time, you have hit me, belittled me, punched me,
Humiliated me.
broken me, broken me.
Like I said,
Things are going to change.
If you touch me one more time,
Speak to me that way, or send me one more cruel text message.
This is what I'm gonna do.
offer you a hug.
ask you what's going on and what you might be going through to make you hurt me.
Hurt me,
Hurt me.
like you do.
Your anger
Is something I will now see. As the way you deal,
With stuff inside
that you don't know what to do about.
And that changes things for me.
in me.
and me,
And me.
and me,
And me.
and me.
Because I now know.
That's not who you really are.
I know.
Because I was once a guy
A girl.
like you. Like you.
And I understand now.
So that's a PSA that is getting a lot of attention, and it really does share the same message as the film, that we have to come at this from a different angle if we ever really hope to heal the individuals that need to be healed. We have to come at it with compassion, and we have to let go of the old stereotypes and to try to beat the bully down, give them a taste of their own medicine. And so the Peacekeeper movement, which is mentioned in the featurette, is a social change movement that was written with some of the greatest minds dealing with youth issues today, the most troubled youth in our country. You may have heard of the Liahona Academy for Boys. It's out of Utah, as well as Recreation Retreat Center for Girls. This is where parents who can no longer control their children, this is where they go. They are minors, and they work in healing programs that are based in love and healing over punishment and the principles of a juvenile system. And Dean Nixon is one of the life coaches that runs all of the seminars, and he runs a group called the Turning Leaf Wellness Centers out of Utah. And I worked with Dean a great deal on this kit, and as well as dozens of educators who wrote lesson plans and helped me with content. This was years in the making. It is a social change movement that is led by our youth. It happens in one school in one community at a time. And I know we're kind of running out of time, so I'm not sure if I have time to walk through it. Susie, kind of fill me in on what, because it says it's 6:27.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. It's a social change movement, as I said, that's led by youth. It empowers them to take a leadership role within their school. And as Susie had mentioned, what all of the data is showing and all the research is showing is that schools have to create a great change. I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing and probably getting this wrong, but the overall idea is they have to bring great change and a social structure to the way the school runs, in terms of how it deals with conflict, how it deals with tolerance of bullying, the zero tolerance. Kids think that is just a bunch of baloney. And they're very honest about it when they talk about it, and they roll their eyes and they say bullying, blah, blah, blabbity, blah. Stop talking to me about bullying. So we'd like to change the conversation, and we'd like to make peacekeepers out of our youth and have soldiers for peace all over the country who are implementing this program into their schools and leading the way for social change. So I'd like to kind of briefly walk you through the summary of what the Peacekeeper movement is all about. And let me know, Susie, when you can, oops, sorry, I brought up the wrong one. Let me know when you can see this full screen.
Okay, I can see it.
Great. Okay.
Perfect.
The Peacekeeper movement, it is an educational tool, and it's mainly for students, but obviously we need the cooperation of teachers and administrators, and it's a transformational toolkit to create peace zones through enforceable commitment, that redefines social behaviors and conflict resolution methods. I think as educators, we all understand, and as parents, we understand that conflict is actually good for us as people. We have to learn how to deal with conflict and debate with respect and compassion over issues that we might not understand, versus being afraid and belittle and harm others because they don't believe what we believe. And so it's kind of a redefinition of how we deal with each other. Students will lead the revolutionary transformation through a 7-step instructional program with support materials that are all a part of the kit. This is free to any school that wants to integrate the kit into their curriculum. We include a peace pledge, and there is a peace contract that is signed by everyone in the school: students, teachers, parents of the students, and administrators. And the overall movement emphasizes healing over punishment. These are the contents of the kit. Our mission is to empower youthful revolution, one school at a time, to redefine social arrangements that embrace a spirit of unity by celebrating individuality, love, and respect for all people, while creating a kinder school and eventually a gentler world. This just is a definition of what a peacekeeper is. The benefits are, there's so many benefits. Kids feel safe to be their true selves, and knowing that the community has their back in that new sense of freedom. If everyone's living by the same code, there is that sense of freedom and safety that we currently do not have in our school systems, in our communities. Feeling like you belong and that your voice matters in your community, having a safe space to share your feelings with a peer support group and mentoring board that is designed solely for your safety and support, knowing that peacekeepers are everywhere with the same commitment as you, being part of a healing movement that will change the world, loving each other and respecting all viewpoints of life, even though those viewpoints are not necessarily the way you live. So it's respect. Having a code to live by that offers a structure, learning how to cope with pain and frustrations that come with being young, and having a safe environment to share those feelings as you work through them, finding out you are not alone and that you have an entire community behind you that supports you. Quickly, the 7 steps of how to implement the kit are: begin. Number 1, never too late in the school year to begin. Reading through the materials thoroughly, sharing the information with the students, parents, teachers, and school administrators and community leaders that this is a program that we want to embrace as a community. Step 2, selection of leaders. Select at least 20 student peace leaders, 2 teachers, and 1 school administrator to implement the program into the school's daily routine. Step 3, display the Peacekeeper movement posters that we supply throughout the school with the date and time of the school assembly to introduce the new program. My favorite part, the school assembly. This is going to be personalized by every school, and the student body that it is made up of the 20 peace leaders. These are the individuals who really want to make the school assembly as unique as possible, because no school assembly will be the same. And this is how they invite families in the community. It's really a community school assembly, not just for the kids, but invite parents and younger generations to join in and what the movement is all about. So this is the introduction to the mission and to train the student body and the staff on the principles of the program. Introduce the Peace Pledge, the Peacekeeper Movement Agreement, and the Peacekeeper Mentoring Board as the heart of the program. The agreement is pretty simple. It's no longer than this page you see in front of you. It's a 1-page agreement that makes statements about that you understand that you're a member of a larger community, that you will respect the aggressors, bullies, and unkind people and seek to understand why they behave the way they do and offer help, that you understand that your actions as an individual directly and or indirectly affect all the members of the community, that you choose to contribute productively and kindly when disagreements occur. It's really the code in which we live by, and everyone signs this so everyone's on the same page. Step 5 is our peace pledge. It is recited every morning by the entire student body in their individual classrooms, just like the Pledge of Allegiance, as a reminder every day of the promise they made and the code they live by. And this is the pledge. I am a warrior for peace, a rebel with a cause for the greater good. I encourage love, respect, and kindness for myself and for all people. I use words that inspire, uplift, and support. Cruelty will not fly with me. I help others see the good in themselves, and I speak up for a kinder way to deal. I understand that peace begins with me. This is my pledge. I am involved. I am a peacekeeper. Step 6, the heart of the Peacekeeper movement, is the election and integration of the Peacekeeper Mentoring Board. This is advised by a school counselor or teacher, and the board is made up of a group of 10 students elected by and representing the student body, serving as the leadership and support system for all students. So when there's a conflict that arises, peacekeepers fill out an incident report form. The board reviews it, brings in the students that were involved in the conflict, hear their story, set a schedule for what the mentoring, the peer mediation and support will be, such as coming in after school to kind of talk, maybe have their parents come in. But this is a sounding board that is kind of the heart of, where do I go if I have a problem? Well, these are the individuals that you go to. They live by a code. They sign a, very much like HIPAA, how it works in our country. They sign a code of ethics that what stays within, what comes within the board stays within the board. It's very much like a student government, and it's a prestigious role that will go on their college resumes, and will be truly proving a leadership role in their communities, being on the Peacekeeper board. It is, it's an honor to serve on this board. That's the page that was defining what the board was all about. So I'll skip through that page. And step 7 is probably the most important step for the ongoing impact that integrating this into the program will have, and that is integrate the movement into the community and to the curriculum. So it is a daily, weekly, monthly reminder of the principles of the KIT and how we live by a code now. The mentoring board selects a course for each grade level that the principles of the movement will be regularly addressed and practiced through set lesson plans and activities. Peace leaders design and organize the Peacekeeper Awards to recognize top peacekeepers monthly and annually. How cool to have a banquet every single year, every month recognizing the Peacekeeper of the Month, and then having annual awards for peacekeepers in your community. Eventually, we'd love to do a national peacekeeper award ceremony, just like the Emmys and the Oscars, and have huge sponsors behind it, giving away things like scholarships, money for college, brand new cars. I mean, it's endless what it could be. And this is a really cool part of the movement, and it's the last part. I've always believed that how can we possibly solve any of these issues? And I'm going to come back to you as I share this, because I think I'd like you to see my experience.
Did we lose you? Oh. I think we lost Amy. One of the things while we wait for Amy to return to us is The thing about Amy's program and the Be Nice online program, it has to do with consistency and duration. And what I mean by that is what we know from research and what we have done in schools is the one-shot kind of program doesn't work. It has to be a program that is integrated into the school on a daily basis. And we find in it, obviously, if you have teenagers like mine, we've had some really great programs that have come through, and they're great. But as my daughter says, oh, you know, I'm great week and I'm going to practice all this and I'm going to be kind. But then once the program's done after the week, I ask her a month later and it's like, what? I don't kind of remember what it's about. For kids, it's, you know, out of sight, out of mind. They just don't keep it. So it has to be a daily basis. And that's why Amy's program is so important, because it is a daily thing. Kids get used to it. And that's what we know with kids. It needs to be repetitive. It needs to be an everyday thing. And the same with the Be Nice online program. The Be Nice online program, it emphasizes the kids themselves, their feelings. It's, again, like Amy was saying with her program, it is not a punishment. We know now that punishing kids and disciplining with a fear is not effective. You know, we know things have to change. And we know that if we don't, like Amy was saying, address the bullier, it has consequences not only for victims, but for us all. When you consider 75% of our school shooters were bullied, if we could make a difference with the bully and the victim, it would speak volumes. And that's what we have to do. We have to work. It's that old saying, it literally takes a village to fight bullying. And we know that some of the things we've done don't work. But these are simple things that we could be doing. And these programs are extremely effective. The other thing that I find really kind of interesting is that both of these programs come out of Michigan. So yay for Michigan. They seem to have really, they're dealing with the feelings, the personalities, and what the child is, the whole child. Because you know and I know, it's kind of like back in the day when we had the whole campaign, Just Say No to Drugs. It wasn't effective. It became a great little saying, but it wasn't effective. And this program, it infiltrates the child's lives, their personalities, and their teachers and their staff. It's a whole way of looking at the whole child instead of just addressing that one issue. What I want to do right now is, let's see if I can come up with a screen share, and we're going to see if this works. And it might, and then again, it might not. Oh, and I think we're on the it might not. Let's go back to there, and we'll bring up this again. Oh, this one. Okay. What we've learned, and right here, what I want to show you are the resources for bullying, the program Peacekeepers. Here's all the program information, and Amy's group, it's a Radish group, so if you're wondering, that's her main website. And also to take a look at that, the film, A Girl Like Her, there is a link to the trailer that you'll see there, and also A Girl Like Her movie. And I had an opportunity to see that movie, and it truly is incredible. And what I like about it, it does not have this wonderful Hollywood ending. And that's the reality of it. And when somebody is a victim of bullying, nobody wins. The victim suffers, you've seen when in the webinar I did yesterday, and the bully does too. So it's a great film. It is going to be released, I do believe, in early 2016, and it'll be available. I want to say that Amy said it was on DVD and disc. The Be Nice program. The Be Nice program, I encourage you to check this program out. It's by CHRISTY Buck. She is the mental health for the Mental Health Foundation of West Michigan. She is a director. And again, it looks at the child's mental health. Because what we also know from research is 80% of our kiddos who struggle, whether they become school shooters, whether they try to commit suicide, they've all, 80% have had mental health issues. And it's a very simple program. It says it all, be nice online. And that's as simple as it gets. Also, on the NEA, the Bully Free group, that is my group. And to join, you can click on the link and sign up. It's free and anyone can join. You don't have to be a member of NEA, or you don't have to be a member of anything. I encourage you to sign up because you will find all these resources and more on that site. The other site that I encourage you also to take a look at is the NEA's Bullying Free site. It starts with me. You can go onto the NEA.org homepage and sign the pledge. And it's a simple 5-minute, but what it does is when you sign the pledge, you vow that you're going to be that caring adult. And I know, again, a lot of adults say, what can I do? I'm not a teacher, I'm a bus driver, or I'm a lunch lady, or I'm just a parent. That doesn't matter. All you have to do is be a caring adult, and anybody can do that. You don't need any training whatsoever. So I encourage you also to go on NEA's Bully Free, It Starts With Me site, because again, the resources are incredible. And all of this is free the resources are free. You just go on the site and you can pick and choose what you want. Again, a quick note, all the slides I'll put up a hard copy, the slide copy in my group, and you will have, this is being recorded. So, in the Google event page, you'll see a link to it. And there also is a link to the YouTube that is being recorded on YouTube. If you were invited to the webinar, you automatically will be sent an email with those links. If you want more information on A Girl Like Her film, if you'd like to, like I said, the Michigan schools have seen it, and I have seen it, and it is an incredible, powerful film. It is not one that you watch and can forget. So I encourage you to go on Amy's website. I don't know how we lost her there, but I encourage you to go on her website and look at what's all available. I also will have her flyer, her movie flyer, up on my site as well. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And again, thank you, Amy. I know you're out there. Thank you.